Is Alabama football. And this is Alabama Nation with Martin Houston and Ryan Fowler on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
They want to hear everything right. Okay, cool. Just 1 sec.
Welcome into Alabama Tradition. Kendall Howell here, filling in for Ryan Fowler, also joined by Martin Houston. Martin, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on with you.
Yeah. So we're gonna get right into it. We're continuing the lead story. Henry To'oTo'o coming to Alabama. Martin, let me first get your reaction when you heard the news. Like how excited did you get? What was your first reaction?
Well, I probably have mixed emotions. I'm getting some feedback. I had some mixed emotions in terms of the decision. I'm excited for the young man. I'm excited for the opportunity and the freedom. I'm just a little hesitant, Kendall, on timing. And let me tell you why. It's probably the player in me that knows how much work guys like Jalen Moody put in to this spring. But reality is he probably will not be the starter, and that's capitalism at its best. But at the same time, had he known that Henry was coming, he may would have transferred out as well. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I think they need to move the transfer date up to before spring. You can free to get that 1 year, but I just think that spring would be the best time. Before spring, after the signing date, and before spring practice. Or you sit out a year. You can transfer, but you still sit out a year. But excited for what it means for Alabama, though, on the other hand of that conversation.
Yeah, I kind of had the same reaction when I first heard the news. My first thought went to Jalen Moody and kind of what that meant for him and how he was just a guy, who's been here for 4 years, had been working hard. Coach Saban had raved about him in spring practice. We saw him; he was excellent in the spring game, and now they just bring in someone who's probably better at your position. I'm still hoping that he can make an impact for this team. But yeah, those were my first thoughts. That I just you as a fan, you kind of feel bad for him because he's been working for this spot, working for this position, and they bring in someone that's better than you. But again, that's the reality of college football. They're constantly recruiting. Even if you're the starter, we saw with Jalen Hurts when he was he leads them to a national championship as a freshman. They're constantly looking for someone to replace you.
Yeah, and like I said, I have no problem with that. It's just timing, Kendall. This was not an option. This is a rule to me that should have been implemented for next year. Should have been implemented, and like I said, with a timeline of next year. You go through the season, you went through spring. To me, the rule should not have been immediately effective because for the guy who wants to transfer out. And Nick Saban, he said it pretty plain. He said, we're not going to take guys unless they're better than the guys we have. I mean, he literally said that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're a linebacker, what did Nick Saban just say? Henry To'oTo'o is better than you. If you're a receiver, it may not be Mechie, but the other guys have to be looking like, I just lost reps because Saban said we're not going to take anybody that's not better than the guys we already have. So
immediately, so like you said, they're not going to take players that they'll take players that are better than what they have the position. And for Jalen Moody, I kind of think that this still doesn't change his mindset a little bit. Like, even though the guys on Alabama, they're well aware of who To'oTo'o is, but I think this doesn't change his mindset going into the summer and fall, I'm pretty sure he still has the same mindset that I'm the starter on this defense. That this is my position, and no one's going to come in here, regardless of who it is, and they're not going to take my position.
I hope that that's his mindset, and I would think that probably is his mindset, because this is not the first time this has happened to Jalen Moody, right? If you're Jalen Moody, you go back to when he signed. Alabama supposedly missed Kendall on several inside linebackers. They had guys they wanted, and then they ultimately ended up settling with him late in the process. 3-star. Well, just name all of the linebackers that have been here. They're all have been considered better than him, right? And all he's done is grind and grind. So I'm not saying that he's going to give up this spot. He's already proven that he's willing to fight and stick it out, because when Dylan Moses decided to come back, that was a guy in front of him. When McMillan decided to come back, that was a guy in front of him. When they went out and got DeMore Kennedy, that was a guy that was supposed to be better than him. When they got Jackson Bratton, that was a guy that was supposed to be better than him. Well, he's the man that's standing, and I think it only makes Alabama better. But at the same time, I know the feeling, having played played the game, and you do all of that hard work in the off season. You do everything you can in the spring to earn your teammates' respect, earn the job, and then Kendall, another guy, comes in and he hasn't had to go through that. But he may have more talent than you, and it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. I do not know that he'll necessarily be starting game one, because one of the things that, Kendall, we have found that Nick Saban is loyal to those who are loyal to him. And we saw that. I love Jalen Hurts. I was a Jalen Hurts guy. But, Tua was not going to win that job. Jalen had to lose it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's the same way with Tua.
Yeah, there you go. Working on it. Yeah, but yeah, like you said, I mean, come fall practice, I mean, I fully expect Jalen Moody, when they start practice, that he'll probably be the starter still, and that they're just it's an open competition. If Toa comes in and he takes the job from day one, then he'll be the guy. But if Moody continues to battle and show what he showed in the spring, and like you said, Coach Saban's loyal guys that are loyal to him, then he could still be the starter. I mean, we don't expect it, but I mean, there's still a possibility that Jalen Moody's come the starter when they play Miami on September 4th.
Yeah, and hey, and listen, it's part of life. I have a really good job, but tomorrow my boss could run into somebody tomorrow that wants to move to Alabama, that has more experience than I, have more natural giftings than I. And I have to decide at that point, am I going to fight to be the best and show that I deserve it, or am I going to tuck tail and run? And I hope that Jalen Moody is a guy that fights it out, but at the same time, I won't be disappointed if the young man makes a decision. Let me ask you this, Kendall. We talk about Jalen. Is it more likely that one of the other guys, Shane Lee, Kennedy, Jackson, are they more likely to be the guy who leaves? Because if you're Shane Lee, you're now at best third.
Yeah.
Are those the guys that we start finding in the transfer portal more so than Jalen Moody, because he's going to get some playing time as the first team guy or the guy that's second to Henry Toa. So he's going to play this year. The other guys may not see the field again.
Yeah, I don't expect Moody to transfer. He's going to stay there. He's going to compete because, he could still be the starter. He talked about it in the spring. He bleeds crimson, so I don't see why he would want to leave or he has any intention of it. But like you said, probably in the next week or so, I expect to hear whether it's Shane Lee or someone else that's entering the portal. Because again, these guys want to play. And especially if you've been at Alabama for the last couple of years and they just brought in another transfer for your position, and then they'll probably do the same thing again next year. And there's, new guys coming in the recruiting class. Now would be the time to make the move.
Yeah. You think about Shane Lee. It's got started as a true freshman, barely saw the field last year, didn't win the job back this year. Is he next? And Saban said, he warned them, Kendall. He said, the rich are going to get richer. Yeah. He said, I'm going to let y'all make that decision. And, hey, I know we need to get the break here, Kendall, but that may be a nice topic. Nick Saban made it sound like he wasn't finished, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think
he's never done? He'll never be done. He's always looking to improve this team.
I got a name for you. I'll save it to the other side of where I think Nick Saban is trying to go next. I think we may get news on it.
You have a specific player?
I do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear this. Can you give me a side of the ball, offense or defense?
Offense.
Ooh.
Offense.
Where they gonna put these guys?
Yeah. This guy will fit and make us extremely dangerous and will be a QB's best friend. I'll leave it at
that. Okay. Well, I mean, it can be any position at that point. Anybody on offense helps the quarterback. So, like Martin said, we'll talk about that coming up after the break. We'll get into a little more of this name, image, and likeness building. We're going to talk about another transfer, Jameson Williams. All that is coming up next year. Listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
All right, is that a Q2 or Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA. To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Martin.
Terms and conditions apply.
It's Small Business Month, and Dell Technologies and Windows are celebrating your unstoppable drive. Save up to 45% on powerful PCs with Windows 10 Pro to work from anywhere, plus top monitors and docks for the ultimate business setup, all with easy.
Commercial free. Maybe commercials about going commercial free just need a Snickers. Snickers satisfies.
Sorry to interrupt your jams, murder mystery podcasts, or motivational beach noises, but we got something else you might like to hear. It's called cash. That's the sound of an extra $250 after your first 10 deliveries with Uber Eats. That's right, an extra $250 on top of all the other cash you'll make during those first 10 deliveries. If that sounds good, visit t.uber.com/extra250. Uber Eats, deliver with us. Limited time offer, terms apply. See t.uber.com/extra250 for more details.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts recommend all the best products to get the job done right, like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil on sale now, just $28.95. And we'll make sure you have all the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pan, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Risky behavior with alcohol can lead to future health problems without warning. High blood pressure, stroke, and cancer. Substance misuse is dangerous. Knowing the risk is vital.
You are listening to Alabama Tradition with Martin Houston and Ryan Fowler. Your connection to Tuscaloosa and the University of Alabama Athletics on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into Alabama Tradition. Kendall Holloway here filling in for Ryan Fowler, also joined by Martin Houston. And Martin said before we got to break that he had somebody that Coach Saban has his eye on. I've been trying to figure it out for these last 3 or 4 minutes, man. I have no idea, so I'm gonna let you take it away. Who is it?
Hey, before I do that, and that's in the radio business, that's called a tease. Everybody's waiting for it. Let me make them hold for just a little bit longer. A couple guys joined us on Facebook. And this is a good point about Moody not transferring. Because of COVID, Larry Miller said, doesn't Moody have 2 years left? Henry will probably only be a 1 year guy if he's everything people say he is. Moody is a true team guy. Great point. Craig Wooden said both of these guys are going to get to play. Larry Miller said he's actually surprised Shane Lee hasn't already jumped into the portal. Craig Wooden said he thinks that Lee and probably Jackson Bratton will be the next guy to jump into the portal. So, good points there.
Position.
Do what now?
So you said two guys at the position might jump into the portal.
That's what Craig Wooden said. He thinks Shane Lee will leave and probably Jackson Bratton. So, interesting take. What'd you say?
What year is Bratton?
He's a true, because of last year, he's really like a true freshman again. He still has 4 years of eligibility left.
Okay, I'll be curious to see about that one.
Yeah.
And what he decides to do. But Martin.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Looking at
the two guys that Nick Saban have gotten so far were two guys that he really wanted. Mm-hmm. And Alabama thought they were going to get them.
And he played them both.
Huh?
And he played them both.
Right.
So he's Tennessee and Ohio State, so he's been able to see them in person.
Right. And he wanted them out of high school, and they chose other schools, Ohio State and Tennessee. They realized they made a mistake. And so now they're just reuniting with guys that they were recruited with, etc., right?
Yeah.
Eric Gilbert.
Oh.
LSU tight end.
Oh, man.
That's not enrolled yet.
No. Oh, man. Okay.
What would happen? I mean, think about it. He fits the same bill as those other two guys, right? A guy that everybody thought was coming to Alabama.
Yeah.
And then he made a late decision
you thought he was going to Alabama originally?
Huh?
You thought he was going to go to Alabama?
No. During the recruiting process, it was between Alabama and Georgia. Okay, and Georgia got the big Washington kid. Everybody thought that Gilbert and Washington was going to go to Alabama and or Georgia, based on what the other one did. Georgia got the.
I thought we knew Gilbert was going to LSU though.
No. Okay. LSU was a shock to everybody. Like the recruiting, everybody, the recruiting analysts, no one saw that coming. It was literally, he wasn't even talking about going to LSU at all during the recruiting process. Man, it was a shock to everyone. And they were like, what? LSU? LSU wasn't even in the conversation. You know how they do they do the whole crystal ball thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was Georgia or Alabama. Everybody keeps saying he has chosen to stay at LSU. No, that's what was reported. He has not enrolled back into LSU yet. He supposedly is back at LSU or back in Baton Rouge. But the last I heard, he had not enrolled. And now it doesn't matter if he's enrolled or not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he has till July 1st to make a decision. So,
yeah.
I mean, think about if you're looking at a position of need that is a game changer and a new quarterback's best friend, it's a tight end position. And with Cameron Latou coming along, that's great. With the way you saw us use Billingsley, I think Billingsley is a good player, a good athlete, special. But I think Eric Gilbert is next level at that position. That would be a game changer.
No, he definitely is. He definitely is next level. So I mean, I ultimately believe that he'll end up back at LSU. But I mean, if he goes to Alabama, then just adding on to Williams and Toa. I mean, you might as well give this team the national championship because you're not going to be able to stop this offense. You have John Mechie, Williams who has experience, and then I ultimately believe that Trayshawn Holden will be the guy opposite of Mechie. And then you already have, I already believe that they'll have the best tight end combination with Billingsley and two.
Yeah.
And you add Gilbert to that. Honestly, I'd be surprised any game if they score under 45 points. If that's what this offense looks like. They will probably shatter every record that's been set by the last 2 years. If that happens, then they will probably end up being the greatest team ever. And just looking at the roster now, what they'll have, this will probably end up being the greatest team ever.
He is. I mean, I think he's that type of player. He would be an absolute. Could you imagine when you could go 4 wide with Gilbert at one, Billingsley at the other one, and then you have Trayshawn Holding and Mechie, or what's his name? The freshman that had the unbelievable Jai Hall. I mean, and oh man, we forgot about Williamson.
And then Baker, so Javon Baker's still sitting there, and plus Keelan Robinson decided what they do with him at receiver. I mean, you just look at it, you can spread them out, and they just puts the defense in a tough position because of what Bryce Young can do with his legs. There's no formula to stop an offense like that because they can throw so many different guys at you and they can run so many new concepts, and the offense is going to look so different than what it has the last couple of years because of what Bryce Young can do.
Yep.
Good night. It's over at that point. There's
watch this. And you put Keelan Robinson at the running back position and then motion him out and you got a linebacker on him.
Yeah, that's
lights out.
It's mixed matches across the board. And to your point with Eric Gilbert, he fell victim to, inconsistency at quarterback position
absolutely
last year. And he'll get Bryce Young this year, who's an upgrade over those 3 guys that they have at LSU. And man, what can you do? What are you supposed to do? Defensive coordinators all week will not be going to sleep. They'll be sitting there trying to figure out, and they'll go to his head coach and be like, I don't know what you want me to do.
Hey, you want another wrinkle?
Let's hear it.
You sure? I mean, hey, don't close the door completely on Justin Ross.
No, okay, there we go. That's where I got to draw the line. That's where we got to stop the rule. Justin Ross, Martin, what are you doing? No, don't get the Alabama faithful excited about that one. I don't know who was bored or whatever and decided to put that story together because there was no credibility. There was no sense that was going to happen. I don't know, Martin. Throw that out there.
Hey,
don't let people think Justin Ross is going to come down here.
Why not? I mean,
why would he?
Huh?
Why would he?
I mean, hey, there's nothing like being a superstar in your own home state, man. It's different.
He's already a superstar.
But he's not going to move back to Clemson. He's not going to have any connection there. He is going to, I'm telling you, bold prediction, Kendall.
That's as bold as it comes. No. I can't have you throwing that out there like that. I mean, just awesome. He doesn't need to be loved by the state of Alabama. He's already loved by his friends and family down here in the state. South Carolina loves him. He's already a hero down there. No.
Hey, Kendall, let's just say for instance, just for conversation's sake, would they immediately change this rule? They would be like, oh.
They got to. That's immediately. They're going to call it a meeting. Wait a minute. It's the way they're putting this together, it looks like they're just breaking the bank on these people. They're signing, it looks like NFL free agency where they're, it looks like what the Patriots did this past offseason where guys are just coming in and they're throwing out, big chunks of money and big contracts. That's what it looks like right now.
Right.
I think it's Justin Ross. It's over. Like they got to redo the whole rule.
If Justin Ross and or Eric Gilbert come, they will be rethinking this rule. There will be some modification immediately to the rule.
1-year rule, if that happens.
Because what they've done now is Nick Saban will always fill his needs through recruiting young guys and then going out and getting a couple of experienced guys moving forward. Alabama will never, under Nick Saban, field an inexperienced team again.
No, they won't. No, like
he will literally.
If they don't have certain experience, kind of what it looked like for a receiver going in, then they certainly don't lack talent. And we saw what these guys did in the spring game. They put on a show, and these coaches in the SEC are already preparing from what they saw with the Jai Hall and Trayshawn Holden in the spring. So I mean, I don't know. I can't believe you brought that one up. I thought we had put that one to rest after. I don't know who came up with that story.
I'm telling you, you better watch it, man. Nick Saban wasn't coming to Tuscaloosa.
All right, we're gonna have to make a bet then, Martin. You and I. We're gonna have to make a bet if Justin Ross, because there is 0% chance that this happens.
I'm telling. Hey, if his back is not completely well, he's still not back from his back injury, right?
He had a neck injury.
His neck injury. He's still not back from that, right?
No, he's back.
Did he go through spring? I don't think he did.
I don't think that's just a precautionary
right.
Thing, but he's good to go.
Right, and so he's gonna come to Tuscaloosa.
Oh man, I don't think he's left the state of South Carolina.
Didn't Justin Ross already say that he wasn't going to transfer in the tweet?
Yes, he did. Nick Saban said he wasn't coming either.
Who was it?
Nick Saban said.
I'm saying this to Kendall. Didn't Justin Ross already said that he wasn't going to leave though?
Correct.
Yeah, he's not like he put that to bed like as soon as when did that story break? It was like Monday
2 days
morning, and then a couple hours later, I was like, I want to see what his reaction was when he hopped on Twitter and saw that he was transferring. He's like, I didn't know I was transferring. I didn't say anything.
Of course, that's what he's going to say because everything's not worked out yet.
It's not like he goes to NC State or isn't a star player at a top 2 program in the country. Like
Alabama's winning it. He wants another natty.
It's a lateral move.
He wants a natty.
He already got one.
He wants another one,
and he can get another one.
No.
I love Bryce Young. I think right now he'd be my pick to win the Heisman, but DJ's a better quarterback, I think, right now at the moment than Young. But they're pretty neck and neck. But it's a lateral move to go from Clemson, Alabama, just based on kind of his status. I can't believe you said that.
Hey, this is radio. I figured we needed some
a second thought or any of that, but. Justin Ross, he's fine at Clemson. Nick Saban, he's fine with the receivers he has. I'm sure he's out there looking for more guys because he'll never stop doing that. But this is the second deepest receiver class after Ohio State in college football this year. So to ask somebody to that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, I do think that there was some conversation, and I do believe that I don't think he's coming. I think. I do think that there was probably some conversation in some ways, just because it's back at your home state. He wanted to come here. I don't know. Once again, it was the reason he chose Clemson was because of the inconsistency. That was during that time when Nick Saban was changing all of his coaches every year. You remember that? And
he still does that.
No, he's not changing. Guys are getting hired now. He was firing guys when Justin came out. Like he was like, get out of here. I don't want you anymore. And his mom made the statement that she wanted to send her son somewhere where he'd have the same coaches. And that's why I agree with you. I think he's a lock at Clemson. And Curtis Moore II said, I agree. with Kendall. It's a lateral move for Ross. But who knows? Lateral moves happen all the time, man.
They do. I mean, they don't happen between Clemson and Alabama, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't think he's coming.
Nah.
I don't think he's coming. But for conversation's sake, if something like that happens,
you have to change the rule.
I'm telling you,
you have a choice. Like,
yeah,
you can't sit there and allow that to happen. But I mean, we're pressed up against another break. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about a receiver that actually transferred in here. We're talking about Jameson Williams, not a wild scenario with Justin Ross. We'll actually talk about a receiver that's transferred in here now. A little more the name, image, and likeness, and kind of how these two guys will shape this Alabama roster moving forward in the 2021 season. All that is coming up next. You're listening to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Clay's Cleaning Service has a spotless reputation.
Take care of the windows. Hello, this is Clay.
But his business operations could use a light dusting.
I had to schedule for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Meet Bob Minetti. In 2016, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Bob participated in a clinical trial that included cutting-edge radiation therapy and surgery. He's been in remission since completion. I'm Keisha Sharp. Since losing my mother to pancreatic cancer, I've been working to share the kind of state-of-the-art work being done by Stand Up to Cancer and Lustgarten Foundation. To learn more about the latest research, including clinical trials, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Land ho! Hey, seriously, land ho, guys. Guys, land ho! Land ho! Right there!
The tides can turn quick on the water. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered with Sign and Glide on-water towing. Get a quote today in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com.
I gotta say, this land ho thing, not very effective.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliate. Sign and Glide coverage is subject to policy terms.
Everybody loves Taco Casa. Everything we do in our store, we prepare in our store. We hand cut all of our tomatoes. We block and shred our own cheese here in the store. So we still hand cut our chips, our sopapillas, our taco shells, our chimalupa bowls. Our chili takes about 4 to 6 hours to make every single day. The goal in that is to provide the freshest, best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
Fear, guilt, indecision. These raw feelings are common when users witness an opioid overdose. As a bystander, fear and indecision may race through your mind, but it's vital that you call for help. Alabama's Good Samaritan law protects those who act in good faith in situations like an opioid overdose. Find out more about Alabama's Good Samaritan law at VitalAlabama.com.
It's awesome, have some fun, man!
Talking Alabama Crimson Tide football on Alabama Tradition with Martin Houston and Ryan Fowler in Tuscaloosa on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into Alabama Tradition. Kendall Hollowell here, filling in for Ryan Fowler, also joined by Martin Houston. Last segment, Martin brought up this ridiculous scenario of bringing up Justin Ross. I still can't believe he did that. But let's talk about a receiver who actually did transfer in here with Jameson Williams. And Martin, what does he do for this offense? So they lose Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, so they don't have as much experience outside of Mechie and Bolden. So what does Jameson Williams do for this offense?
Well, first of all, I think he brings some experience, more experience at a high level. Even though we saw the guys play in the spring game, there's a different level of intensity, speed, quickness, physicality that happens when you play the real game. Everybody has more juice, adrenaline, etc. And, it's just different. And this guy has played at the highest level and against the highest competition, including Alabama and in Notre Dame, Clemson, et cetera. I mean, this guy's played at that level. But the other thing, I think he's a top end guy. That pass that he caught in the semifinal game, that deep ball, man, he was smoking. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, you like you said it. I mean, so he just, obviously he fell into a tough situation at Ohio State because they have so many guys over there. I mean, outside of Alabama, I think Ohio State has the deepest and the best receiving core in college football. But yeah, I mean, I expect Williams, line up in the slot. Coach Saban said he wanted more speed, and he certainly got a lot of it with Jameson Williams. He just allows you to stretch out this defense more. And with what he can do is, obviously, we talked about he can take the top off of a defense, but he opens up, more throwing lanes for Bryce Young over the middle for guys like Billingsley and Latou and stuff like that. And this receiving core is going to look so different from kind of what they've had before. So like with Hall and Baker and Holden, like they have more bigger receivers. Like these guys are about 6'2", 6'3", around 200 pounds. And then so other SEC schools aren't used to seeing guys like that on Alabama. And then now they have someone like Jameson Williams that can take the top off over defense. It's just the more I look at this Alabama roster and stuff like that, and even after losing guys like Harris and Waddle and Smith, I fully believe that this team will be better in 2021 than they were last year.
It's hard to believe that our wide receiver core potentially, now remember I said core from top to bottom, could be better than last year's.
Yeah, I believe that. It's a crazy concept to think about, especially when you have the Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and all that he can do. But I mean, there's more depth than they had last year, and it's just
well,
I like it a lot more, to be honest. And
Kendall, when you look at what he brings to the table, first of all, I think his ability to stretch over the top, I think, is huge. I also think he's a better route runner than probably everybody but Mechie. Compared to what you mentioned, and this is kind of getting away from him a little bit, but Alabama has not done a good job of having 50-50 receivers.
Yeah.
And now we have now we're going to have a situation where we have Jalen Waddle type receiver in Mechie, and I think that's what I think that's what Robinson is going to bring to the table. I think Keelan Robinson is going to be Jalen Waddle-esque, even though his title, as he came here, was a running back. I think he's going to be that. I think that you're going to see Hall show the ability that we can now do some 50-50 balls, and he has ball skill to go up and get them. Trayshawn, I think, is probably somewhere in between those guys. So we have every type of receiver that you typically have spread out over a league. We have the dual threat guy that can hurt you running routes, but he can also hurt you on the speed sweep. So we can have that as a part of our offense. We have Williamson who can take it off the top, so we can hurt you with the deep ball. We have the big wide receivers who can go get 50-50 balls, and now we have tight ends that create a mismatch. We've never had all of that at one time.
Yeah, and then to top it off, you got, all this incredible depth at running back, fast guys like Jason McClellan, and you could feed guys like Roydell Williams and Brian Robinson, and we'll see what happens with Trey Sanders if he's if he can crack into the rotation. And then Bryce Young, just to top it off, again, it's the legs element with him. Like the offense it'll just look so different. It'll be so explosive, so many different guys. Like defenses aren't gonna know where to look. Like who do we focus on? Mechie, Holden, Baker. I mean Billingsley. Like anybody on this offense can kill them, honestly. So I mean,
did you see? You mentioned Bryce's legs a couple times. Just to give an example, think about the completion he had to Roydell Williams in the spring game, where he was rolling to his left, and he did a little, I call it a juke move, because that's what you call it on the basketball court.
Yeah.
But he did the jab step, The whole defense shifted, and then he turned and threw almost a no-look pass to Roydell. Then you take the touchdown pass to Latu. Kendall, in that play, people say, well, he threw it to a wide open guy. But go back to that play and watch what happened. The running back or him, one of them went the wrong way. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the element right there to be able to make a play off script.
Yeah,
that's the big element right there where the play is breaking down around you. Like, obviously, we could see the being able to see over the defense wasn't a problem for him.
Right.
Being able to create something when the play breaks it down around him wasn't a problem. It's just a new element with him.
Yeah, and that's what people like. People like, well, he threw it to a wide open guy. I said, but go back and watch the play. He was mature enough that when he turned, whether he turned wrong or the running back went the wrong way, I don't know. But instead of focusing on that, he immediately went through got his head up and threw a strike to a wide open guy, which means that even though all of that happened around him, he still kept his eyes up. A lot of people don't realize it. Some guys can't run play action passes well because they have to look at the running back. They have to be watching the fake. He was running his fake, but at the same time, without looking directly at it, he pre-read the defense. He knew where they were going to go, and when he looked back up, he confirmed immediately, and boom, he planted. You wouldn't even know from the way that play that there was a busted play in the backfield. And that's an element that we may have had before, but to see it at him, a kid who hasn't played really much football in the last year, that was impressive to watch.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring up another play actually on that first drive. It was a third down, and offensive protection starts to break down a little bit, and he rolls out to his right, and he throws a strike to Trayshawn Holden.
Yep.
That's just another part of it. Like you said, his ability. So we know what he can do, obviously running. Like, he has speed to him, but the biggest element, thing to his game is his ability to keep his eyes down the field. He's not scrambling and moving to run. He's scrambling to find the open target. He needs, that extra time to let, guys get open, and that's what he does for this offense.
Kendall, one of the things I said on my show in the mornings, I said, it's kind of crazy to think about what we may watch this year at the quarterback position. If you go back, we had Jalen Hurts, freshman All-SEC player, Tua Tagovailoa, one of the prettiest passers, most gifted quarterbacks ever, Mac Jones, rewriting record books, and one of the smartest players ever. We may have all three of those in one player. We may have the legs of Jalen Hurts, the pure talent of Tua Tagovailoa, and the smarts of Mac Jones.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, I see a combination of all of it with Jalen. He was more of a power runner in that sense, but obviously he had speed to him and all that. And then Tua can use. He wasn't known for using his legs, but he can when necessary. And then we know about Mac Jones and his accuracy. But like you said, when I watch Bryce Young, I see Kyler Murray, and it's not just because of the height factor. It's all the things you can run a quarterback design run with him, keeping the eyes down the field when you're rolling out. He has plenty of arm strength in the touch with it. Like, it's just all bottled into one when you see Bryce Young, and it's Kyler Murray. That's all I see with him.
And I see you use Kyler Murray, and this is probably just an age thing. I say Russell Wilson. In both of those guys, I think that's probably based on who we grew up watching, or showing my age probably more than you. But do what?
You gonna bring up Fran Tarkenton?
No, I'm not, but maybe. No, I would bring up I would bring up like Cunningham.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that one, yeah.
I'm not that old. Come on, Kendall. That was a low blow. Well, maybe I am.
Hey, you got more memory of it than I do, so no.
Yeah. Hey,
he's all of those things, to be honest. Like Bryce Young is my pick to win the Heisman this year. I think he'll be the first Alabama quarterback to win the Heisman. He'll do it in year one.
And here's an interesting piece for you. Curtis Moore II said, and he did all of that with a mediocre offensive line. Imagine an O-line at full strength.
Mm-hmm. And Mechie wasn't even out there.
Mechie wasn't. Brian Robinson wasn't out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one starter from last year's team on the field, and that was Neal, right? Evan Neal.
Yeah, I believe so. Well,
Chris Owens played, and you could say he was a starter, but he didn't start till someone went down. So if you count Owens, it was two starters on the field from last year, and he looked like he belonged. So
it's definitely gonna be scary. So I mean, so we're pressed up against another break here. We're gonna continue this conversation. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the defense coming up after this break. You listen to Alabama's tradition, the past, present, and future of the Crimson Tide.
Jeep Freedom Days and the Ram Spotlight Sales Event are on now at Carlock CDJR of Tuscaloosa. It's your chance to take advantage of amazing new car offers. If you've been thinking about trading in your car, now is the time. Trade values are approaching all-time highs, fueled by a strong automotive market and a shortage of quality used vehicles. As a result, your car is likely worth more than you think, a lot more, and quite possibly more than you owe on it. Get top dollar for your trade and big deals on new cars this month at Carlock CDJR of Tuscaloosa.
O'Reilly. Don't miss out on Clean Car Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. If your car could use a spring cleaning, stop by for great deals on everything you need to keep your car looking new. Like Mother's California Gold Wash and Wax, just $4.99 for a 64-ounce bottle. That's a $6 savings. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sorry to interrupt your jams, murder mystery podcasts, or motivational beach noises, but we got something else you might like to hear. It's called cash. That's the sound of an extra $250 after your first 10 deliveries with Uber Eats. That's right, an extra $250 on top of all the other cash you'll make during those first 10 deliveries. If that sounds good, visit t.uber.com/extra250. Uber Eats, deliver with us. Limited time offer, terms apply. See t.uber.com/extra250 for more details.
Clay's Cleaning Service has a spotless reputation.
Take care of the windows. Hello, this is Clay.
But his business operations could use a light dusting.
I had you scheduled for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Mr. Spiller, my old rocking chair is worn out, and I ain't happy.
Well, how's this one, Miss Grumpster?
This is so comfortable. Now I'm happy. And my old mattress, it's full of lumps and valleys, and I ain't happy.
Well, how about this new Spiller mattress? You're sure to get a good night's sleep.
This is just right. I'm going to sleep like a queen. Now I'm happy.
If Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So shop the Make Mama Happy sale at Spiller Furniture and Mattress.
Is that a Q2 or Q3?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA.
No.
To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, John, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cloudy with occasional showers and thunderstorms likely this afternoon and tonight. The high today 74, tonight's low 56. Tomorrow, cloudy and cooler. We'll have a chance of a few scattered showers during the day. The high at 66 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 69 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The host of the game, Ryan Fowler, and the host of the Martin Houston Show, Martin Houston, have combined to offer a show filled with in-depth analysis of Alabama football and more. Alabama Tradition broadcasts live on Tide 100.9 every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. and is available live and on playback on numerous affiliates around the Southeast. Check out alabamatradition.com for a list of affiliates, as well as other great content.
Welcome back into Alabama Tradition. Kendall Holloway, Martin Houston with you here this evening. Last segment, we talked about this offense and just how crazy it's going to look with all these weapons and Bryce Young at the helm. But let's talk about a little defense. Martin, so obviously they get the addition of Henry To'oTo'o, but I still believe they have officially, again, the best linebacking core in college football, but I still believe that the secondary is the strength of this defense.
Wow. I don't know that there's a weakness on the defense. Let me think about the secondary being the strength of it. But I will say this: it's been a while since I felt like, okay, we can win a football game with our defense. It's been several years since I felt that way, and I feel like with this defense, we can do that. I think that we have some disruptors at outside linebacker, pass rushers. I think we're going to have with Tim Smith and company up the middle. I think we're going to be able to push the pocket into the quarterback's face. And now at inside linebacker, you have to think immediately. You're potentially looking at 2 first-rounders. At inside linebacker now. Because to me, I think Christian Harris gets better with To'oTo'o coming beside him. Because either one of them are going to be better. And what I mean by that, Kendall, is if Christian Harris calls the plays, then To'oTo'o is going to be able to do something he hadn't got to do at Tennessee, and that's just roam and be a heat-seeking missile, and vice versa. If To'oTo'o comes in and he calls the plays, then that's going to release him. Moving to the secondary, I'm gonna toss it to you on the secondary and let you tell me why you think that's the strength.
Yeah, so you brought it with the linebackers, though. Looking at 2 first-rounders, and then Will Anderson, also outside linebacker. He'll be a first-rounder when he's eligible in a couple of years.
Yep.
But at the secondary, it reminds me so much. Do you remember the Broncos defense in 2015 with the no-fly zone?
Yeah.
It reminds me so much of that. They have so many guys and so much depth in this secondary. It starts with Josh Jobe. If he can just, cut down on some of the penalties and all that, then I think he can have an All-American season. Because he had a tough assignment last year. Just, anytime you're the opposite corner of an All-American guy, they're going to throw at you a lot.
Yes.
And, he handled it pretty well. Jordan Battle at safety, he got better really after the Ole Miss game. They had some communication issues early. But I like him and DeMarco Helms back there. I think one of those guys will be a first-round safety when it comes for them to be eligible and stuff like that. They have the experience, they have the depth. Malachi Moore, I think Malachi Moore has a Jim Thorpe award in his future. When I watch him, I heard a lot of comparisons to Mika Fitzpatrick last year, and I see him. But when I watch him, I really see a young Tyrann Mathieu when he was at LSU when he's wearing number 14. When I watched him as a freshman, that's who I saw, and we know how great he was. So, and then Moore, I think Moore is better in coverage than Tyrann Mathieu was at college.
Yes, I would agree.
Jalen Armour-Davis, I think he holds down the corner spot. I know a lot of people are expecting Kool-Aid to step in there, but if you want to know why you didn't hear Javon Baker's name called in the spring game, Jalen Armour-Davis is the reason why. He is excellent out there in his technique and all that. And then Brian Branch, kind of what do you do with him? He'll be the dime. He could play safety, but he was excellent stepping in for Malachi Moore in relief. He just, he does it all. And then you got, Story and Wright. They just have so much depth and so many guys.
And I'll add one more piece to that. When you see the fact that 2 guys enter the portal and they are DBs, that tells you that tells you that the young guys coming in hit the ground running, and the depth that was there, the guys that were there, up their game. So I tend to agree with you that it has a true chance to be one of the strengths. And with the addition of the new guys coming in, we may even create enough depth to do some special things.
Deal. Well, this has been Alabama Tradition. Kendall Hall and Martin Houston here with you this evening. We got Title Talk tonight. Who do we got? Joe, James, Tommy, the whole crew. You don't want to touch the dial. All that is coming up next. This has been Alabama Tradition, the past, the present, and the future of the Crimson Tide. Thanks,
Kendall. Great job, man.